Huzzah! Nowish here, and welcome to my post 602 war guide, or commentary video, or whatever you want to call it. Giving my thought on the new war class and new expansion. I will be referring to my own experiences rating, so it's my opinion, what I feel about it. Hopefully it has some weight to it. I would hope so, at least. So to start it all off, I would like to point out that most of the bosses in Siege are not properly tuned at all. Some die very easily. Some has abilities that may cause you ready to wipe if you don't handle them properly. I'm not sure why that is. Might be because heroes are not as overpowered as before, or they have simply just tuned the bosses wrong with the squish and everything. But yeah, it's not too big of a problem, I think. And as expected from the beta testing, warriors are on top, along with fire mages and warlocks. And there's no real big difference between single target, cleave, or AoE fights. All three classes are pretty high in the meters. And yeah, as I said, warriors, both Fury and arms are pretty competitive, but Fury pulls slightly ahead. I don't know why really. I think it has something to do with the mastery scaling so well. Like, I think you get like more percentage from per point mastery point now with the patch or something. So yeah, I think I'm sitting at like 70% mastery with full buffs and stuff, which is pretty cool. Alright, now onwards to gearing. With the patch, all hit and expertise are gone from gear, from enchants and gems. That means that hit gems are crit, expertise gems are haste. So that gives room for some new gem combinations you can use to get your socket bonuses. I will give you a link to my armor in the description below, so you can see what piece of gear I use, how I gemmed. But I will give you a walkthrough anyway, from my point of view, how I went with it. So first of all, I went with like 50%-ish crit build. I then tried to max out my mastery while putting some some required hybrid gems in the orange sockets, being haste and crit or haste on mastery. I decided to get rid of the tier completely, since 5 Warforce pieces gives way more stats than having 2 for a set from the tier. And the 2 sets pretty dog shit, since BT hit like a wet noodle. Anyway, so 20% more damage on the wet noodle is like, I don't know, a soft noodle? Something? Yeah. 4 set could be pretty good, since Execute actually hit hard. But I feel that the extra stats you get from the other gear pieces are outweighing the damage you can get from the Execute's procs. Yeah, like with that said, to be honest, like, sure, you can go for the perfect gearing, but I think most of your DPS comes down to how you played the character after the patch. I think the gameplay has a more determined factor on your DPS than the gear. So you can just keep that in mind. So next up, enchants and consumables. I don't know why, but apparently most of the old foods and flasks and stuff are better than the current ones. So I ended up using the Cata Flask Titanic Strength, which gives 5 more strength than the Mop one. I used the Cata Potion Golden Blood, which gives 20 more strength than the Moga Power Cata Mop one, and I also used the 36 Mastery Food Lava Scale Mindstone versus the 34 Strength that the Mop Food gives. So it's like Mastery versus Strength, which is better. I felt that Mastery was better because 36 Mastery gave me 2.5% more damage with the well enraged. And for my own calculations, it's a DPS increase versus the Strength for another food. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah. Also with enchants, I went with 11 Mastery on Bracer instead of 18 Strength. I went with 13 Mastery on Gloves instead of 11 Strength. There's also another cloak enchant that gave 1 more crit rating, greater critical strike rating from, it's also from Cat, I think. So if you really want like extra crit point or whatever, like if you're really up to min maxing, you should go and get these items, like these consumables. It's not like too much of a deal. I think they're pretty expensive on the auction house, obviously, but the regions for them are not that expensive, where you can just herb and whatever do yourself. So yeah. I would also like to add that what I've just said about the gearing and chance, mostly for Fury, as the Fury is the spec I've been playing since the patch, aka 1 day. But I would like to say and add that Arms favors strength, crit, and haste over mastery any day of the week. So mastery doesn't really add anything to the Whirlwind, and Whirlwind is the filler ability unless you spec it to slam, which you don't because it sucks. So yeah, if you want to play Arms, you should probably go for the strength food, strength and chance, and then gem crit and haste in most of your slots, gem slots. Alright, so how do you even play this new incarnation of the warrior class? I'll go through both specs, but first I will go through Fury. Okay, so the charge talents, Juggernaut of double time, doesn't really matter, personal preferences. I use double time, 1 more charge, more mobility, yes. Self-healing and rage regeneration was what I used, but you can use impending victory, but you need a target for that, and sometimes you are not close to target and you need that heal, so it's... Yeah, I feel the rage regeneration is better. Fury Strikes or Sudden Death or UKT. UKT I don't like, no BT on cooldown, so fuck that talent. Sudden Death to RNG to be used properly in here. Like, I really liked Sudden Death on single target as a SMF on the beta, but it doesn't really apply well on live at the moment to RNG. Since almost flash will be cleaving anyway, and on the small occasions where you want to use single target damage, Fury Strikes, it's better to use those wild strikes, fast, more reliable, more smoother. Rotation, you can't expect to have a sudden death proc at that point, like where you want to use it. So less RNG, the better. 60 talent as Dragon's Roar, doesn't DR anymore with cleave with AoE, like more targets, doesn't DR. Very good talent. Vigilance, more raid cooldowns, very important. Blaze Storm, Bloodbath, or Avatar. I use Blaze Storm on almost every fight except for Nowish, Shelf Pride, Iron Juggernaut, and Thok. You can use Blaze Storm on Thok for bats, but we almost kill the boss without even getting bats, so depends on the raid, how high raid DPS you have. Shelf Pride adds die when they spawn, pretty much, so there's no point in having Blaze Storm there either. You can probably go Blaze Storm on Nowish, but adds die quickly there as well, so it's almost no point. It's up to the raid, like, I don't know, if the raid has so high damage that everything dies like mine did, then it's no point in having Blaze Storm fights with small ad spawn. Bloodbath wants to be used obviously on single target fights like Iron Juggernaut and stuff. With glyphs. Raging Blow glyph, after you use Raging Blow, 10% more damage with Whirlwind. Interruption glyph, after you interrupt something, you get 6% more damage for 20 seconds. And third glyph, which increases your maximum rage by 20. You can probably use Ball Rush instead of interruption glyph on fights where you don't have anything to interrupt to get more rage on your charge. But yeah, situational. So how do you even play this spec, Fury? First of all, you want to be enraged as much as possible. Like, your main damage comes while being enraged. That's our mastery. I think I see it at about 70% more damage while enraged with raid buffs and all this good stuff. So if you don't manage to be enraged, you lose so much damage. And you get enraged by using BT and crit, or you're using Berserker Rage. So the priority should be, first of all, being enraged. If you're close to capping rage, use wild strikes to burn it off, to bleed off the rage. You want to use BT. You want to use RBs. If you got 2 RBs, you want to use at least 1 before you do your next BT, so that you don't waste a RB proc. You want to use Bloodbath and Dragon's Roar on cooldown. Once the boss is below 20%, you want to use Executes to blow off the rage instead of Wild Strikes, since Executes hits like a truck and very, very good. On cleave fights, you want to use a Whirlwind in between each RB, if it's a lot of modes, like 4+, you want to use at least 2-3 whirlwinds before you do BT to cleave off the RBs more. It all depends on how long the ads will stay up as well. Because on most like more than 3 or 4 targets fights, you will use Blazestorm anyway. And when Blazestorm is done, as most of the ads will already be dead, so you will end up just clearing 2-3 targets anyway. Yeah, I think that's about it. Just like a small comment about the new Fury gameplay. I like this more furious gameplay than the old mock one. I didn't like Colossus Smash at all. I didn't like the playstyle that you wait 20 seconds until you have Colossus Smash, then you unleash your Fury, then you sit around waiting, and then you unleash your Fury, and sit around waiting, etc, etc. I don't know, it didn't feel good to play. Oh, okay, it felt good to play, but I didn't really like it that much. I like this more. This feels like more old school Warrior to me. Yeah, okay, let's go towards Arms. Alrighty then, Arms. Arms Warrior. How do we play this shit? Talents, same, double time. I would go with double time. I like it. Personal preference, of course. You can play with whatever you want. Second talent, Enrage Regeneration. Good, good. I would play with Hateful Blood on everything. To be honest, sudden death is a bit too RNG, and as it doesn't consume like extra rage anymore, like it did before, it doesn't hit for that. Like it doesn't hit for too much. So Hateful Blood is good. It's a requirement on multi-target fights where you can keep multiple rents up. Then you want to play with Dragon's Roar, Vigilance. You don't want to play with Blazestorm on any fight except for maybe Galacross and Spoils. I'm not 100% sure about that, but maybe. Since Blazestorm need to compete with both Bloodbath, Avatar, and the Whirlwind, like that you can use in the time you Blazestorm. So I would use Bloodbath on pretty much every fight, except for that, yeah. So glyphs. Same glyphs, interrupt glyph, 20 more rage glyph, and bull rush instead of the rage and blow glyph. That's what I would go for. So how is the rotation then? Rotation for the Arms Warrior. Very complex, very, very hard to master. You keep Ren up, Colossus Smash and Mortal Strike on cooldown, and the rest of the time to Whirlwind. The end. Not that fun to play, I would say. It deals numbers. Numbers are always good. You obviously want to play something that deals damage, but it's not that fun to play. Not a lot of choice to do, to be honest. So below 20%, obviously you want to use Execute, preferably inside the CS window. Execute consumes up to 50 rage. If I'm not wrong, if I haven't missed something, it still does that. So you want to keep Ren up on so many targets so that you can have enough rage to spam Whirlwind and Execute as much as possible, and keep Mortal Strike and Colossus Smash on cooldown. That's about it. It's not hard, not too complex. Very simple spec. Yeah. So this is the end of the guide and commentary thing about wars in new patch. I thank you for watching and hope that it wasn't too horrible to listen to me. I'm not a natural speaker, which you might hear. And I started doing this stuff. I might do a couple more, depends. And feel free to like, subscribe, comment, say what I can do better. I'm up for suggestions, and I appreciate all feedback I can get. And hopefully I will improve better to next time. And yeah, have a good one.